It was a truncated release schedule this week that was actually surprisingly strong. Actually, there's nothing we can talk about from Marvel Comics. They just had a few releases. DC had a bigger slate, and it was really, really good. But there were two comics that absolutely stood out as the worst of the week. So it's an all DC week here. And for that, to talk about these crappy comic books, we do have the Marvel aficionado and the X-Men historian, Doc. How you doing, Doc?
You ruined my fucking week making me read these comics. Because you know what? I was having a good week. Then not only did I have to read two DC comics, they were two bad DC comics.
Oh, yeah, one was the worst.
Yeah, one was significantly worse than the other, but they were both pretty bad.
Well, I can't wait to find out which one that one is. We will start with the king of the crap. We're going to start with Michael Bendis' Justice League number 70. He's not getting the premier artist like he did in the past, Doc. And this story here, is Leviathan supposed to be a bad villain? Is he supposed to be important? Because he's sitting there essentially verbally filleting the Royal Flush Gang, hoping that they'll join his side.
I have not understood this Leviathan thing since the beginning. Like, I can't tell if it's a dude, an organization, a government.
It's an organization run by a dude named Mark Shaw that used to be a manhunter.
Okay.
Exactly. That's how everybody responded when they got the big reveal.
Like
okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't like none of this is big. None of this is interesting on the art side. Before we get into the story too much, I will say I do like Phil Hester's art. I think he's a very competent artist. He's
done much better than this comic issue.
He has. This is him, I think, on either a rush schedule.
This is like basic bitch Phil Hester.
Yes, it is. This is him really, really rushing to probably put out the minimum amount of work that he possibly could for his page rate. Because I'm betting it hasn't changed much since his Green Arrow days. I hope that this is leading to something more. Because all it is Leviathan showing up, as you said, verbally filleting the Royal Flush Gang, who in typical 21st century comic book fashion is just hanging around wearing like everyday clothing in their lair.
In typical 2021 fashion, they're talking about all this cool stuff that they're going to do, and they show none of it.
Yes. They don't show any of it. You know, they're talking about their big plan. Now, in some ways, I'm curious. I'm curious if this does lead to something bigger, if there's some big elaborate game here, but it's Bendis, so he's going to underwhelm. I mean, I'm already absolutely certain of that.
Well, but I'm overwhelmed by the dialogue. I don't know how you can say underwhelmed. I got so much dialogue. I feel like I don't need to read any comic books next week. This thing is just people talking. And then I don't mind a little Silver Age or Golden Age zaniness, out of my DC comics, but the Royal Flush Gang stole the Forces of Solitude as a distraction for something else.
Yeah. Like that is
how fucking stupid is Superman?
Yeah.
How do you lose your Forces of Solitude? That's literally got every remnant of your home world and like the only living record of like your mother and stuff. How irresponsible is Clark Kent?
Well, I mean, look, in fairness, who the fuck steals a building? You could steal the contents. You could rob the contents of a building. Who the fuck steals a building? That's some ridiculous.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, I guess he's moved it a little bit, and then then as a decoy, they just drop the key for his building in like a fucking used car parking lot, like a used car lot. Is that to distract Superman? And Batman can't figure out, hey, this is obviously a distraction. Why are we wasting our time on this?
No, he knows. He's talking in his ear. He's like, hold it back. We don't want him to know that we know that we know that he's distracted.
Yeah, this is a whole lot of we know that you know that they know that we know that they know.
And there's so much Whedon dialogue in here. It's just, it sucks so bad.
Nobody can finish a fucking sentence. There were so many lines here where nobody completed a goddamn sentence.
And everyone's super sassy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean, Black Adam's sassy, Superman's sassy. Naomi is fangirling the entire time. Which, hey, look, in fairness, I expected them to all be, once I saw Naomi's part of this book, I haven't paid any attention to that character since she was created, but since she's a Bendis Mary Sue, I assumed that everyone was just going to be fawning over how amazing she is. I mean, they did in that opening title page, but they gave her equal billing in fawning over her with Black Adam. So I expected her to be less fangirling over Superman and more everybody else sitting there validating her for 22 pages. Or if they already spent a lot of time doing that. They already get that out of their system in this book. I don't know. I haven't been reading.
Nobody's been reading Justice League. I came on this just as cold as you have. I haven't read a Brian Michael Bendis Justice League in like 6 months. I knew it was destined to be shit, Doc. And it was.
It really was. It's like they found all the worst parts of Bendis. This comic was a reminder of how much I've not missed Brian Bendis's writing, because I've literally not read a thing he's written since he left Marvel. And this is the first thing I've read since. And it was a reminder of, oh God, he really was this annoying.
He's like a parody of himself now. He can't not do the stupid tropes because I guess that's what he's known for. So that's all he's doing.
Yeah, it seems like and it looks like whatever big kind of idea he's going for, that all gets lost in his tropes. If he'd actually just write a fucking comic book, tell us what was going on.
His Legion of Superheroes, like the idea behind it's actually quite solid. It's all an execution issue. He can't write anymore.
Yeah. And that bores the ever-loving shit out of me. Like this comic was just boring. It was just a game of, like, it kept jumping around in time again, like that fucking comic from that Batman Tom King comic from last.
I think it's supposed to be like a Guy Ritchie movie or something, like a heist movie.
Maybe that's
but without
what he was
the
going
full
for.
Dialogue and good writing,
good action, and it's like he's trying to write Ocean's 11 but less clever, and with characters that nobody gives a shit about in the Royal Flush Gang. I will take the Royal Flush Gang versions from Batman Beyond over this version any day of the week. What the fuck does Leviathan even have a use for them as? He wants them as his Justice League of the New World Order? What? This is stupid.
Now, there was a worse comic, in my opinion, and it's Teen Titans Academy number 10. Tim Sheridan has been on my never buy list since I think Teen Titans Academy number 2. He'd done some really bad comics in Future State. He really upped the game in Teen Titans Academy. I decided to dive back in. We had a limited slate. I've been trying to avoid this guy, but I said, you know what? If I'm going to have to deal with this, Doc is going to have to deal with this as well. This is one of the most fundamentally flawed, stupid comic books I've ever read in my life. It feels like Tim Sheridan, the writer, had no idea what he's actually doing. He's just chucking loads of crap at the comic book and hoping something sticks with the reader, but he doesn't realize just how stupid he's made the story. He also undermines the entire Teen Titan team, the original team, with this stupid self-insert Stitch character.
Okay, so yeah, we are on the same page then, because I thought this comic was so much worse than Justice League. Justice League was just Bendis being Bendis.
Justice League is inoffensive. Teen Titans Academy is, it undermines the credibility of the heroes.
Yes, it outright is offensive to anybody that is a Titans fan. It shits all over the traditional Titans. It tells some stupid story nobody cares about. This Stitch character, it seems to only exist there to lecture the longtime Titans about how they're not really living up to their own standards or whatever.
Here's the problem, Doc. Here's the problem. So we have Red X, who's been the big mystery, and apparently he's murdered Simon. And then there's another character, I think his name is Dane. It turns out he's the son of Satan, and he's the Antichrist. Raven is seeing all these visions that this guy is going to like kill everybody on the face of the earth, and everything that they see is confirming what she is seeing. So we've literally got the son of the devil that is going to kill the entire world, and they're like, I hate you to it, but we got to kill this guy before he destroys everything. Pretty much the only logical conclusion, other than why haven't you contacted the Justice League about this?
Yeah.
And then they got themselves get lectured by this stupid Stitch character. Like, you can't kill him. You don't even. So what if he's the Antichrist? You don't know that he's going to murder the world. Like, well, technically we do. And then they're like, you know what? I think Stitch is right. We are old. We are stupid. What were we thinking? We are ineffective. And I'm like,
I mean, they're sitting there going like, hey, we're coming up with all of our contingency plans. And one of them needs to be, how do we kill
murdering
this?
the Antichrist. So
yes,
mankind survives.
Yeah, that has to be at least on the fucking table. Even if we don't want to do it, it's got to be on the table. Because you know what the alternative is? Everyone dies. Pretty sure. And then,
can you
where's
imagine
the line?
In Dark Knight's death metal? They're going up. They're going to go fight like the Batman Who Laws, who's bigger than Perpetua and whatever. And you got Wonder Woman, you got Superman, you got Batman, and then Stitch shows up. He's like, you can't kill the Batman Who Laughs. You don't know that he's going to destroy the entire multiverse. He could still be, like, get out of here, you fucking pipsqueak.
Yes.
Yeah, the Teen Titans themselves are just letting themselves get lectured. Dick Grayson should have, kicked him out of the room since he's the leader. We've also got Speedy in here. They've absolutely deballed that character since he's returned to the universe. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. This whole, you know what I do? I'd be like, if I'm Nightwing, well, first of all, it was that whole thing that Stitch character needs to call everybody by their first names instead of their code names, because it's like pro wrestling now. You can't have character names; they all just got to be their real names. When they're
in the
hanging
school,
out.
he's supposed to call him Mr. Nightwing and like Miss Starfire,
and he's just calling him Dick and Corey and
he should be expelled for violating the code of conduct, right?
You know what I do? I'd be like, hey, fucking Patchwork Man knockoff. Why don't you go? We're gonna just put you first in line to go deal with the Antichrist.
Yes, we're gonna send you as our emissary. We want you to talk him down.
Exactly. And when he eats you, we don't have to get lectured by you anymore. That's what you do to these people. You just, okay, fine. You want to try to talk down the Antichrist? Cool. But all this story was, you know what? I read this fucking story already. It was called Chosen by Mark Miller, about the Antichrist that thinks he's not the Antichrist until right at the end of the comic, and then he just kind of accepts being the Antichrist, because that's what this character did too. He didn't want to accept it. Then a bunch of really, really poorly drawn hell wolves, or hellhounds, come and bite him once in the real world, and after apparently he gets yelled at by an older version of himself with long hair. I think, because
I thought that was his older brother, but that's neither here nor there, Doc. One of the real issues with this, and obviously these are being kind of patterned off of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And in the end, Harry Potter did work himself up to where he's literally fighting something. Might not be the Antichrist, but Voldemort is a very powerful character. They're jumping to the Voldemort story in issue fucking 9 or 10 here. Like, can you work yourselves up to this fucking story? Why are we fighting the Antichrist before the first year is over?
Because this comic's not going to last after the first year is over. It's already going to be, it's going to get fucking canceled, because I'm sorry. You look at this comic, it is absolute shit. The art is trash. It looks like something from like Crusade Comics in 1992. You're like Z-list like your true Z-list comic publisher. This is the art is terrible, the story is meandering, and I've read it all before. Um, it's hey, look, it's Angel. As he's an angel. Look, he's an angel. He could be an angel. Don't make him be the Antichrist. He could be an angel. Jesus fucking Christ. I've already read this.
You know what the worst part, Doc, is?
A baby with
Tim
full head of
Sheridan
hair.
made Brian Michael Bendis look pretty competent by outshining him with shittiness.
Well, yeah. I was going to say seeing a baby that was like 6 months old.
The 6 month old baby that was born.
Yeah, the 6 month old newborn.
Soda's had 3 children in the last 6 years. I was like, nah, that ain't it, son.
Yeah,
they ain't that clean, and they don't come out with hair like that.
That's a fucking toddler. What the shit happened here? Okay, I guess. I mean, maybe he's got really rapid aging, but apparently he's. Well, now what I'm really confused.
And I also think it's weird that
there's
a
140-year-old Teen Titan.
I also think it's weird that this character is supposed to be like 14 years old. Yet he's ripped to the max and like shirtless the whole time. It's like, are we supposed to be sexualizing teenage characters like this?
Well, not only he's 14 years old, but he's also 128 because he was born in 18. Like,
do you think it makes it more complicated? I mean, physically, he's 14 years old.
Yes, I'm really confused by everything in this fucking comic book because he's a 130-year-old teenager that looks like he's 14. That has the mentality of a 14-year-old, but has been alive since the 1860s.
Can you imagine if, like, when Kitty Pryde was introduced into Uncanny X-Men, if she was just like wearing a thong all the time, and you know what I mean?
Would have been kind of weird. I mean,
yeah, it would have been kind of creepy.
And like, you know, the fact that she had a big thing for Colossus and he wouldn't go along with it because she was too damn young, even though he was only 18. Yeah, definitely weird. And stop, like, give him a shirt, please. This is weird.
Yeah. This comic book sucked. This is like a half star, maybe a 0 star. It's close. There's nothing really redeeming about Teen Titans Academy. Unless you really don't like the Teen Titans and you want to see them demeaned by a shitty character, despite doing what appears to be the right thing, you know, without a doubt. Justice League 70 it's like a 1.5, maybe a 2-star comic book. It's not the worst, but there really weren't a lot of comic books out this week. But these were the 2 worst, in my opinion. Doc, I'll let you have the last word. I'm sorry you had to meet Tim Sheridan like this. He fucking sucks.
I'm sorry I had to meet Tim Sheridan at all.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.